Yes, they do that now. How's it going, fight fans? Joey G, your boy from Wrestling Headlines, and we are once again joined by a very special guest. He is the current X Division champion of Impact Wrestling. He is the walking weapon and one of my favorites, Mr. Josh Alexander. Mr. Alexander, thank you so much for joining me, Joey G. How are you doing today, sir?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. It's an absolute pleasure. I know you're getting ready. We were just talking a little bit off mic about this coming Saturday, Slammiversary. You have a big, huge title defense coming up in an Ultimate X match, defending that prestigious X Division title against a slew of former champions. You know, you got Rohit Raju, you got Chris Bay, you got Ace Austin, Petey Williams, and the very talented Trey Miguel. Now, I know you probably need to keep an eye on every single person in this match, but is there anyone in particular that you'll be keeping a closer eye on as we get ready going into Saturday?
I mean, all five people challenging for this championship, I'm gonna have my eye on them. I think the X factors or the aces up people's sleeves is Fulton and sorry, Fulton and why is his name escaping me right now? This is embarrassing.
And Ace?
No, not Ace. Shira. Sorry, Fulton and Shira. And
that's them already getting in your head. That's all that is.
No, they've already been a problem ongoing over the last few weeks leading up to Slammiversary, and especially Shira. You know, he gave me that choke breaker over his knee and left me land with the group of them standing over me not too long ago. And I think they're definitely going to be out there. They're definitely going to be somebody that's going to get in the way, in addition to the already five competitors that are trying to get that championship. So I have a lot to worry about.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing how you handle it. You know, you've already given us quite the run as X Division champion so far. And earlier this year, you defended the title in a matchup against TJP in a 60-minute Ironman Classic that aired on Access. I know you've already done some press, already talked a little bit about this match. Personally, while I was watching it, the match received a ton of praise backstage prior to even airing. It received even more acclaim when it did air, and I thought it was an absolutely fantastic matchup. And I personally thought that this particular matchup in the times that we are kind of played better without a crowd. And I just want to explain why before I ask my question is, an Ironman match, you're built in to know that this is going a minimum of 60 minutes. And you guys actually, because it was such a close contest, went over the time limit and had to go into sudden death. Did you guys feel that the lack of audience energy was noticeable? Because in my opinion, watching it, it felt like people, especially fans watching, were able to focus more in on the story, not have to worry about a live crowd either participating or not participating. So what were your thoughts? Was the lack of audience energy noticeable?
No, not at all. From my perspective, I don't know how anybody else feels about this, but when I'm wrestling, whether there's a crowd or not, especially at television tapings or anything like that, it's like tunnel vision for me. I'm zoned in. I don't notice any of that. It's the exact same thing. I understand that like sometimes with a crowd, I'll get some adrenaline rush or like a peak of like energy or something from them reacting to certain things. But otherwise, it's a performance the entire time. It's a competition the entire time for me, and it's not hard for me to suspend my own disbelief and put myself into that scenario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, like I said, again, I thought it was a fantastic match on both ends, and congratulations on not only putting such a marquee and a very difficult marquee matchup to put on, but again, successfully defending it against TJP. Now, I'm currently in Chicago, so I'm a big Chicago guy. And as you know, you've done a lot of work at the Indie Fed AAW. Here, holding their top world title and winning the Memorial Tournament, the Jin Lennon Memorial Tournament back in 2019. You beat Eddie Kingston in the finals. You have any fond memories of that tournament run?
The tournament run, I have some weird memories from that one specifically.
Interesting.
I came in and I knew that this tournament was going to have a lot of eyes on it, and it gets a lot of fanfare as like. Much as like the BOLA of Tournament of America has, much like back in the day, the Ted Petty Invitational would. This is like another tournament in succession to that for the Chicago scene. So I knew it was going to be something important, and I knew it was going to get a lot of good matchups like Eddie Kingston in the finals and stuff like that if I got there. To me, the story was I qualified first night, and I had 3 matches second night. And between first night and second night, I go back to the hotel. I have some Subway that was waiting for me in my room, and I forgot to put it in the fridge. And I ate it because it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was going to pass out, go to the gym in the morning. I woke up in the morning and I felt all right. And I walked out of the hotel gym. And when I got to the hotel gym, I was hit with the most sudden gut wrenching pain I've ever felt in my entire
Mm,
life. Like
mm.
it was the sickest I've ever felt. Like I barely got back to my room to just collapse on my bed and fall asleep for like 4 or 5 hours before the bus to the show left. And I was fighting this incredible fever the entire time. I remember Chris Statlander and Killer Cross. They were like getting me Gatorade and protein bars, just trying to make me eat anything. And I showed up the second night, and I was so terrified that going into the second, third, and fourth matches I was going to have, that I wasn't going to be able to compete that night. And it was just something weird. Like the first match came up and my music hit, and it all washed away. Like all that adrenaline in that moment, like I said, that tunnel vision hits, and like I was just able to go out there, compete, and I would come back and I would immediately collapse and have to ice the back of my neck and just like try to like get my bearings about me and get my fever down. And then I go out for the second match and then the third match. And like just by the end of the night, it was total exhaustion and elation beating Eddie Kingston for that tournament trophy that I have now in my house. But yeah, it was an interesting story just because I was so sick going into the second night, and just being able to perform those three matches like I did, it was just something to hang my hat on even
You
more.
know, it's hard for me hearing that story not to attribute this time as your Michael Jordan flu game. It seems like you not only conquered the American deviant known as the Subway sandwich, but you're also able to push through and win that tournament. Congratulations on doing that. One question now, I've gotten the fortunate gratitude of being able to interview a lot of the X Division champions in Impact Wrestling. I find the X Division title to be one of the most prestigious currently in the sport of wrestling throughout all the companies. Now, I've asked this to the other champions, and I will now ask it to you as you are the title holder. When you think of the X Division Championship and its history, is there a particular superstar in mind that you think of?
There'd be two. AJ Styles, obviously, I think he's the biggest star ever out of Impact Wrestling.
Mm,
And it's all started with the X Division. He went in and out of it. Obviously, that triple threat match in 2005, Unbreakable.
mm.
But Samoa Joe was the guy that solidified just even the possibility of myself becoming a professional wrestler.
Mm.
And he was the one that made it, a possibility in my mind to even try to attempt this dream. So he would be the guy.
Well, that's awesome to hear. It's always interesting to hear, stars, especially stars of Impact stars of today, talk about the history of Impact as like, it seemed at so many points the company was on death's door, and it just continued to rise above that. The dedicated fan base continued to rise above that. And it's exciting to see the work that you've done. Now, as you're getting ready for Slammiversary, you really have come into your own doing your solo run. I just do want to ask one quick question about the North. The North will go down as the team that's had the longest title reign in Impact Wrestling history. Even though that you're out on your own now, does it still feel good to be able to hold such a prestigious record in what has been a very prestigious company that has already had, you guys beat, I believe, Taya Valkyrie, who had the longest Knockouts championship reign. Like, does it still feel good to know that you guys carry that title?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like it comes as like a little bit of a shock and surprise to myself, because like coming into Impact Wrestling, you never know what to expect. 3 months after I signed, I win the tag team championships, and we go on to have that longest reign. And now that reign ends, and now 3 or 4 months later, I win the X Division championship, and now I'm on this incredible run to me where this momentum's growing and stuff like that. And it's all about opportunities and building upon it. So like as a TNA and an Impact fan growing up, being able to be etched in the history books beside America's Most Wanted, Beer Money, all these other tag teams as the North, it means a great deal to me.
That's incredible to hear. And like I said, I've been so, most fans of Impact and most pro wrestling fans have been so impressed with your run. We know how excited you were to be able to showcase some of your own skills. Now, going into Slammiversary, the Ultimate X match is a very, very dangerous match, a match that has put this company on the map from the previous, and it's going to be the first show back with live fans following the outbreak of COVID-19 back in 2020. Do you feel any added pressure going in to be able to deliver for this match, or are you just excited to get back in front of fans?
Uh, I'm definitely excited to get back in front of fans. I don't think there's anybody in our locker room that isn't extremely excited to finally be in front of fans, because it just gives everybody that extra push, that extra edge, that extra bit of pressure. And as for the Ultimate X match, I feel an extreme amount of pressure to perform on Saturday at Slammiversary, because not only is there going to be a ton of eyes on Slammiversary because it's Slammiversary, it's one of the biggest pay-per-views that we have all year, but we also have the headlining of Kenny Omega against Sami Callihan bringing in eyes. We have Deanna Purrazzo defending her Knockouts Championship against somebody who may be a surprise from, a past another company coming in through a forbidden door. Who knows who that might be? So there's a lot of interest in this show, much like there was last year, which was like the craziest like watch show, and it was like viral all over Twitter and stuff like that, trending worldwide. I think the same thing's going to happen this year. And that being that, I think I'm put in a very good position as X Division champion in this Ultimate X match, which has garnered a ton of interest, to go out there and just overperform and steal the show and make a name for myself in, the running of all that.
I have absolutely no doubt that you will, because the walking weapon in my eyes has just continued to ascend to the stars, and I look forward to continue watching your ascension. Listen, I only have a couple more questions for you. Speaking of, you already talked about Kenny Omega and Sami Callihan. We got a lot of other nice matchups on the card. I personally believe that this Ultimate X match will be the show stealer, but is there another match that once you're done defending your title that you'll be keeping a close eye on?
I'll definitely be keeping a close eye on the main event, but one of the ones that just intrigues me looking at the card breakdown, William Morrissey and Eddie Edwards, because I think since Morrissey's come in, I just think he's been like a killer, and he's obviously, been imposing, and he wants to make a name for himself. And I think Eddie Edwards has regarded himself as, I don't know which one it is, the heart or the soul of Impact Wrestling, but I certainly would agree with a lot of that sentiment. And I think that he always has great matches, and he always performs at a high level. So I think that's going to be a good test for Morrissey, and I just want to see what he has. And I think Eddie Edwards is the perfect guy for it.
I 100% agree. I'm excited to see Morrissey, what he can do, especially on the big stage. I'm excited for all of you guys. Truly, I was able to cover a lot of your shows when you guys were, doing tapings in Vegas. I had gotten a chance to meet several of the talent backstage, and I truly, honestly say this, that I really could not. There could be no matched charisma, no matched excitement, no matched heart in the entire locker room. So yes, Eddie Edwards might be the heart and soul, but I truly believe the heart and soul lies within the Impact locker room. You being one of the key players there. Just quick aside question outside of Impact. You also made your NJPW debut. You performed on Strong. You got to represent your promotion again as X Division champion with that prestigious title. Can we expect to see you there again anytime soon?
I don't know if it's anytime soon. I think you can expect to see me there again, whether New Japan likes it or not. I went out and I performed twice against Alex Coughlin and Rocky Romero, and I have 2 W's now. So, unless they're going to leave somebody undefeated, off on the bench, I think that would be a big mistake on their part. So I think you can definitely look to see me back in New Japan Strong representing Impact Wrestling.
Well, now, do you also worry about, you did have an NJPW guy named El Phantasmo. He jumped over and you taught him a lesson on Impact on Access. Now, do you see any other NJP or any other, should I say, outside Impact promotion guys coming in and trying to challenge you for your title?
I mean, as long as I can defend my championship Saturday in this Ultimate X match, I welcome any and all challengers. The biggest and the best from across the world. If they want to come into Impact Wrestling and try to make a name for themselves on my behalf and take my championship, I'm more than welcome to challenge.
Well, all I could say, Mr. Alexander, is that whoever decides to be brave enough to stand up and challenge the walking weapon, I feel bad for them. It has been an absolute pleasure, sir. Thank you for joining me, Joey G, at Wrestling Headlines. Besides Slammiversary coming up this Saturday, is there anything else you'd like to plug before we go home?
That's it. I'm Impact Wrestling through and through. If I can defend my X Division championship, I will continue to try to gain this momentum that I've been building so far, and just try to go down to the history books as one of the best X Division champions of all time. So just follow along.
I tell you what, sir, you are quite literally right at the very top in my mind as some of the best who have ever held the belt. Thank you so very much. Good luck on Saturday, and God bless, brother.